Celebrating Delmarva natives who have gone on to make real differences in the world. We are honored to have our next guest here in Historic Studio D with us today. Fueled by heartache, he and his family launched a program that helps young men and women reach dreams that they may never have thought possible. He's giving them college access from the ground up. I'd like to introduce to you this afternoon Mr. Omari Scott Simmons. He is one of ours, Delmarva. Raised in Milford, he is now the founding director of Wake Forest University's Business Law Program, and he is the executive director of the Symons Memorial Foundation, and that is only two of his titles. Only two. It's good to have you, Omari. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, you just gave a talk at Milford High School.
Yes.
Why is it so important for you to return to your roots?
Well, one of the things is, too, when I think about Milford, going back to it, it's a small town on the Delmarva Peninsula. You're familiar with it. And it's where I got the sense of community. And one of the things, too, in terms of when you think about helping people and moving forward, those things have become more important to me. So I've gone on to college, done a range of different things. But when I come back to sort of the operating principles that guide me, a lot of those things came from the experiences that I had when I was much younger. And so it's just a pleasure to come back.
So I understand the ignition of your passion would be your mother and your brother. Why?
Okay, my mother was an educator. She was a teacher in the Cape and Lopin School District for many years. Not only interested just simply in teaching, her responsibilities extended beyond that. She was very invested in the community. But both my parents taught my brother the importance of education, but also when we thought about success in my family, it wasn't about individual achievements. It was about how many people you helped. And so also, we founded the organization in honor of my late brother. My late brother Nate's a graduate, 1995 graduate of Pennsylvania State University, and he suffered from a disability, kidney disease. And so the opportunity to see his perseverance in light of that were nothing short of inspiring. Plus, just the idea of myself going to college and through higher education, I just became really enthusiastic about it. And I noticed when I went to high school, there were a lot of students that were more talented than me. There was nothing special about me, but I said that maybe if students could get access to information, mentors, and other things, they could match up their talents and also potential with a higher education institution that give them better opportunities.
Be more than they dreamed of. Okay, so let me ask you this. You say they were ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and that's the idea behind the Symons Memorial Foundation, right? Explain that to me.
Well, I believe people do big things from small places. And one of the things our slogan is developing potential on the periphery. The idea there is that when you think about even the Delmarva Peninsula, the idea it's on the periphery of various states, I think that our goal is to sort of bring that more central and mainstream. And with respect to that, it deals a lot with the students that we actually try to reach. It's a grassroots effort, and what we try to do is assist vulnerable students. So when I say vulnerable, there's a range of students who would fall into that category. Students who have geographic isolation, students who are first-generation students, students who come from minority backgrounds or historically disenfranchised backgrounds, and low-income backgrounds or modest incomes as well. And so if we give them the resources, the idea there is that they'll be able to use that to further their higher education, but also become leaders.
Right. Can you give me an example of a student that you've helped?
All right, I'll give you an example of many.
Okay.
There are students who grow up in communities right here on the Delmarva Peninsula, who have been in towns that may have 3,000, 4,000 people. They go on to some of the top universities in the country. But not only that, they are doing big things and want to contribute back. We have students who have been Fulbright Fellows, gone on to do Fulbrights in Taiwan. We have students who are lawyers. We have students who are going to Harvard University Law School. And interesting enough, we have students who are investment bankers who work at banks like Goldman Sachs.
Wow.
But that's not what truly impresses me about the people in the program. What impresses me most is that when we first started out, I started out when I was 25. And so I've been at this for now over 2 decades. And the pleasure has been seeing some of those students who were helped along the way and how they come back and give back and invest. And so when I spoke to you about Milford, that's where it comes from. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. If you help someone, they tend to pay it forward in multiple ways. And so those small investments we make in students, it just sets in motion a range of events that are unpredictable, but they're beautiful nonetheless.
And big. So you've written a book, Potential
Yes.
on the Periphery.
Yes.
What's in it? Tell me about it.
All right, well, interesting. I never really intended to write a book. Even though I'm an academic established, my area is business law primarily. When I help students, I'm not going into it with the intention of writing a book.
Right.
I also, too, I'm naturally probably reluctant because I respect the people I've mentored over the past 2 decades. And so the only way I would do this book is if it wasn't just me talking. So what I ended up doing over a probably 18-month period, interviewed former students who'd been in the program over a 14-year period. And so the goal there was, with respect to the interviews, you have their voices coming through. They are the experts. And I think when I thought about it, a lot of students would come back, and I thought about the stories that they would tell, and I said, a lot of people can learn from this. Academics, policymakers, teachers, administrators, but also the students themselves, so that they could hear a grassroots or ground level view of what it's like to grow up in a small town, what it's like to grow up in a small town, go to the big city, go to an elite institution, and try to further your career, the challenges, the difficulties, but also the beautiful successes that they've achieved along the way.
So you want them to take it as an encouragement that they could do it too?
Yes, but also I wanted to serve as a reminder to all of us who sit in positions of privilege, that we should invest in college access for students. We should try to engage with them, and we should also develop potential on the periphery.
Okay, so have you got any more projects in the future?
Well, none major, but the best project possible is to try to help as many students as possible,
Yeah.
Whether it's here. Now, interesting enough, we started out the program here in Southern Delaware probably in 1998. When the first 8 years of the program were there. Currently, for the past 13 years, we've been operating in North Carolina. But I would like to get back to Southern Delaware and continue the programming. And the greatest thing about it is that former students who were in the program, alums, I hope that they can carry their work forward here.
Omari Scott Simmons, Milford's own, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. It has been a true pleasure talking to you.
All right, it's a pleasure talking to you as well. Thank you.
Amazing man. Stick around. Delmarva Life will be right back.